just in, and so good. Thousands of spring finds up to 70% off are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. And that means thousands of fresh reasons to rack.
How did I not know Rack has Adidas?
Why do we rack? For the hottest deals.
Save on Madewell, Vince, Kate Spade New York, Sam Edelman, Joe's, and more. Great brands, great prices. That's why you rack.
Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
This is Jordan McLeod from Texas State. You're listening to Fun Belt Podcast.
This is the Fun Belt Podcast, part of the Believe Network.
Folks, to Dusty Thibodeau of Warhawk Report, Jeremy Harper of Howell Razor, and Shane Metlin of the Daily News Record.
I think it's potentially a very good week for the Sun Belt.
But I'm just kind of going off on a random rant. It's just frustrating. Welcome back to our second Fun Belt podcast of the week. I'm Jeremy Harper. He's Dusty Thibodeau. The other guy, Shane Metlin. Welcome back, guys. It seems like it's been a matter of hours since last we spoke. It's good to see you guys again. Yeah, I'm sure I'll catch flack in that last episode where I'm wearing a Texas State shirt. But, you know, there's a 90% chance that if you give me a T-shirt, I'm going to wear it. Just throwing that out there for other schools around the league.
Well, I do want to let people know that here on the Fun Belt Podcast and the Believe Network, we do have special edition Boob Cat shirts made of the finest quality, gentlemen. Have you put one of these shirts in? They really are good quality. They look great. They look smashing. They don't mold to your stomach. They suck in your stomach. So you look athletic. It's a great shirt.
No, Jeremy, you bought a medium.
I went with the Hudspeth Special. Yes. It looks great. Guys, all right. We all agreed. Week 5 was a great week for the Sun Belt. It's like if week 4 kind of sucked. It did. Week 4 kind of sucked. Except for the James Madison, Shane. I know they beat North Carolina that week. Okay, you don't have to remind us of that. It's just constant. Shane Tibbs, it's constant with him and North Carolina. We get it. You put 70 points on North Carolina. Let's move on. Enough.
I'd just like to tell you about the Daily News Record.
You know what you're becoming, Shane? You're becoming Appalachian State when they beat Michigan. Are we going to have a 10-year reunion about that? Is there going to be a constant ESPN special about beating North Carolina 70-50?
Probably.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform. And it's your number one source for everything football. And it's actually my number one source for betting online. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. Do you think you know your stuff? Get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on the game of blackjack or poker or unwind with any one of our 150 slot games. Head to the website today and get in on the action. BetOnline, the game starts here. Oh, poor North Carolina. So sad. It was so fun to watch.
So humble.
Yes. Okay, guys. We have a duty. We have a solemn duty. No, it's not with a D. Duty. That's a little shitty too. But this is sort of a task that we've taken on for the Sun Belt community, is to take the games and analyze them so that they could do their due diligence when they're examining the games themselves. They've got our input already in mind, right? They come in armed with knowledge. When Saturday hits or when that Thursday night game hits, they're ready to watch the game. And what I'm talking about, guys, is Sun Belt second and short. The gong of quality has rung. We know what that means. It's time to assess the games we have coming up in the Sun Belt. It's 6 games this time. They're all Sun Belt on Sun Belt.
I pass it back and forth to you guys. You guys weigh in. We try to keep the analysis to about 2 minutes. It doesn't always work because it's all Sunbelt on Sunbelt. We only have 6 games. Who's not playing this week, Tibbs?
Depends on who actually shows up and doesn't show up this week. No, it looks like it is going to be all of Georgia has the day off. And then we are looking at just the state of Georgia.
It's just the Georgias because they had that big emotional game last week with each other. And they need that time off to recoup. But not the rest of the Sun Belt. The rest of the Sun Belt is ready. Guys, are you ready for this week's edition of Second and Short?
Only if Shane is.
You guys aren't like going, yeah! Listen, I'm making myself hoarse doing this. All right, let's do it. Here we go. First game is Thursday, October 3rd. It's a pretty good game. We're going to enjoy this. Texas State Bobcats, they're 2-2, kind of a disappointing 2-2. I'm just going to keep coughing. Ready? Okay.
You should stop smoking.
What? It must be all that asbestos I ate at Lad People's Stadium. Anyway, Texas State Bobcats at Troy Trojans, they're 1-4, 6 p.m. on ESPNU. The Bobcats are a 14.5-point favorite. And why not? The Texas State Bobcats can score. The Troy Trojans cannot, as evidenced by their last game with ULM. I'm going to throw it over to you, Tibbs. What do you see coming out of this game?
This is the rebound game for Texas State. I think that they're looking to move beyond their loss to Sam Houston last week. Didn't see much out of Troy to make me lean their way. They just were not very impressive. We kind of knew that going into the season, that this was going to be a rebuild from all the talent they had lost. Seeing it secondhand on the stream last week when they played ULM, it's true. They've lost a lot of talent. Goose is a game-time decision, so there's not a whole lot going on for Troy right now. Texas State, relatively healthy coming into the game. As our friend Kef Chardillo said, no Ben Bell, though, as he is taking a redshirt year. So that hurts on the defensive side of the ball. But overall, Texas State definitely has more than enough weapons, if nothing else, just in the arm of Jordan McLeod to get the Sun Belt Conference victory.
Yeah, too bad for Jared Parker. He's seeing all his new head coaches around him, seeing some success right away. He's going to do it the old-fashioned way, start with a year 0. Shane, does Troy have a chance? Troy's at home. Troy's usually tough at home.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point, is they're tough at home. They're tough to score against. I do think with Jordan McLeod, Texas State will score enough points to get out of there with a victory. But, like I said last time out, I was disappointed in Texas State not making strides after the bye week. And I don't know how many strides they're going to make this week, but I think they're going to be a little better. I think losing that one's probably a little bit of a wake-up call, and they'll get enough offense to get a win.
Saturday rolls around, and that's when the real Sun Belt action begins. First Saturday game of the day is my O'Doul's Maintain Your Edge Sun Belt Game of the Week. Appalachian State Mountaineers, they're 2-2 at Marshall Thundering Herd, 2:30. ESPN Plus, the Herd are a -2. Well, they're a 2-point favorite. Here's why I like this game so much, is because I don't know what to make of either team. Are the Mountaineers kind of cooked, or are they just going through some sort of early season slump? Is Marshall Thundering Herd finally finding their stride, or are they just kind of like, it's Western Michigan? I'm going to throw it over to you, Shane. Maybe you can read the tea leaves a little easier than I can.
I can't, because I wouldn't have said like that App State's cooked, like just because they had a tough loss. But I don't know. Like, we're only now starting to hear what's happening in Boone. Like, we don't know how much they've practiced. We don't know what anybody's dealing with, like, beyond, like, just the football side of things. Maybe they go in and ride a ton of emotion and win that one at Marshall, or maybe they have not had any time to prepare for an actual football game. I really have no idea what to expect from App State, other than it sounds like they're going to make it to Huntington and get the game played.
Yeah, through a football perspective, you almost feel a little sorry for the Herd because, let's face it, we're all going to want to see Appalachian State sort of rise above the challenge. The storyline of overcoming such a huge natural disaster and coming away with a win against the Herd would be a pretty good story. Tibbs, are the Mountaineers going to be able to make good on that story, or is the Herd sort of coming up?
I agree with Shane. I don't think we really know what shape the Mountaineers are in.
Yeah.
You know that the Herd have been focused on this game. They want this game. It's at home. You said the bet online spread was Marshall -2.
That's right.
I like the. It's 3 point?
No, I said that's right.
Oh, it's 2. Okay. I like the Herd in this game. I think that they have just enough to kind of down the Mountaineers. And like Shane said, we just don't know what they've really been focusing on. We know going into what would have been the Liberty game last week that was canceled, really App State did not look that great. And so you got to figure they haven't had the ability to focus on getting better with everything going on, that they're still just not going to be in the right state of mind to really compete in this game.
Next game is another sort of Sun Belt East slobber knocker that if you're a fan of the Sun Belt East, you're really going to want to see this game because it's going to be pretty fascinating. The Old Dominion Monarchs, they're 1-3, but man, they're a different kind of 1-3. Versus Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, they're 3-1. It's 6 p. It starts at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, ESPN Plus. The Chants are a home favorite. They get 4.5 points from Bet Online. Listen, Coastal Carolina did not look very good against Virginia. That was the last time we saw them. But they still have Ethan Vasco. They still have Sam Pinckney. Old Dominion, they're just that weird team that we just don't understand what drives them, what motivates them. And now Grant Wilson might be hurt. Shane, what are we going to get out of this game?
The Grant Wilson thing's the question mark for me. I was kind of prepared to pick ODU in this one, even though I've been so high on the Chanticleers all year. And, they're really good. But I think ODU's better than their record. That's been a tough schedule for them. And then they go and get a good win on the road last week. If we knew that their quarterback was healthy, I'd be prepared to pick ODU. Now I think I'm going to end up feeling bad for ODU losing another close one because it seemed to just lose so many close games, and I'm leaning towards Coastal in this one.
So when Grant Wilson went down, the guy who stepped in was freshman Joseph Colton, and he was 6 of 13, but for 26 yards, which is kind of difficult to do. Tibbs, do you have some insight into this game? Can you peer through the weirdness?
I think that this is really Coastal's turning point. They have a habit that we've seen in the past where once the conference slate really begins is when they start their ascent up in the standings. With this being the kickoff for them into Sun Belt Conference action, this is where they turn on the afterburners. I like Coastal. I like Vasco. I like Pinckney. I like everyone in between. And I believe that Tim Beck is going to get his team off on the right foot and 1-0 in Sun Belt Conference action.
That is excellent analysis. Also at 6 o'clock, guys, ESPN Plus. South Alabama, they're 2-3, just coming off a loss to LSU. Plays Arkansas State. They're 2-2. They're coming off a bye week. Arkansas State took the sabbatical after playing Iowa State and Michigan, getting really waxed by Iowa State. The Jags, they've put up 87 points against Northwestern State. They went ahead and embarrassed the Mountaineers on national TV. Tibbs, how do you see this game shaking up? Are the Jaguars Are they gonna disappoint you again, or are they maybe under this new management maybe no longer a disappointment?
I don't think there'll be a disappointment, but I'll say this: I think A-State, they've shown that sometimes it takes them more than 11 people on the field to win a game, and I think that they're going to have that home field advantage again this week and get the win over South Alabama. I still really believe in Jalen Rayner and company at Arkansas State. I think this game's going to be a lot closer than what most people think. But yeah, I can't bring myself to pick the Jaguars again. I think A-State uses their mythical 12th player, and they're able to get the win to go 1-0 in Sun Belt Conference action.
You know, the mythical 12th player right now is John Gruden. Apparently, Butch Jones and Jalen Rayner reached out to the quarterback guru, John Gruden, to help Jalen get back on track as a top-tier quarterback. We'll see if that works. Shane, will the Zoom councils with John Gruden have any effect on this game?
I don't know about that. I'm
okay.
leaning more just towards. We'll go with the home team. I feel like it's kind of a toss-up game. Like South Alabama has been tough to figure out to some degree, but they had possibly the most impressive showing in the whole Sun Belt when they went into Boone and destroyed App State. So I like that. I feel like they're getting things figured out on offense, having to go to LSU notwithstanding. But I was a little surprised Arkansas State wasn't more competitive at Iowa State. Not that I was expecting them to win that game, but after they played pretty well at Michigan, I thought they would continue to be pretty good. But now, you take out what Tibbs had been alluding to was the game against Central Arkansas. It was a good FCS team, but maybe that's one Arkansas State really shouldn't have won. How are we looking at them now if they don't get that one? I don't know. I think they're going to pull one out at home, but I just, we talk about the mystery teams in this conference. Arkansas State's sort of one of them for me right now.
Yeah, I think this game is going to take away a lot of mystery for Arkansas State one way or the other. If they don't beat South Alabama, if they lose to South Alabama, we know that Arkansas State isn't ready. If they do beat South Alabama, it'll show that Arkansas State is ready to compete. So we'll see about that. This really is the game of the week, but you had to pick the Mountaineers and Herd because there's of the storyline. But James Madison Dukes, they're 4-0. They go. Is this the first time, Shane, that the Dukes go to Monroe?
I think this is the first time they've ever played anywhere.
Yep.
Oh, the first meeting.
They played
football in places before.
Yeah, they played football in a couple of locations, but yeah, I think it's the first time that ULM and James Madison have ever played against each other.
Wow. Okay. Wow. This is the first time meeting between these two. It's at 6:00. It's on ESPNU, and it should be. With the Warhawks, a surprise 3-1, but the Dukes are given a 17-point BetOnline edge. That's a pretty big edge. Does Coach Bryant Vincent have something up his sleeve for these Dukes? And I put it to you, Dusty Thibodeau.
Oh, I mean, this is the game of the year. And I'll give you a little coach talk. It's the game of the year because it's the next one. But you're going against the team that you're very likely going to see again if you were to have things lay out correctly in a Sun Belt Conference championship game. You'd much rather have that game in Malone Stadium than having to go up to James Madison for that game. So that's why it's huge. But I'll be honest, I'm still not impressed with this Warhawk offense until they show me that they can really throw the ball. I do think that ULM covers the 17 points because I think the defense is probably going to be one of the better ones that James Madison has seen. They're not going to hang 70 on them. They might hang 72, but not 70.
Not exactly 70.
Yeah, not exactly. But no, I think that this will be one of the better defenses that James Madison's seen, and that's really going to keep their offense in check. James Madison gets another win, but it's a lot closer than we all think.
Yeah, in some regard, I know that the North Carolina game is a thing, but this might be an even tougher game with ULM just playing almost like some sort of radiated meteor zombies. They're just super powered by something that the world can't understand. Do the James Madison Dukes need to be a little bit worried, Shane?
I don't know if they need to be worried, but I don't think they're going to be putting up video game numbers like they have the last 2 weeks. It is a really good defense. I think the key for JMU is they haven't turned the ball over this year. And you don't want to start now and give an offense that's struggling a little bit the opportunity to take advantage of a short field or even, defensive touchdowns. Like, that could be a great equalizer. But I'm kind of with Tibbs. I see JMU maybe like being able to pull away a little bit late as both defenses play pretty well in the first half. But I think I said it the other day. I'm imagining more of like a 28-13 type of game than 70-50 in this one.
Here's the thing: when the Dukes get pulled out of the East Coast and they get put in this sweaty atmosphere that smells like cayenne pepper and swamp, they're not going to know how to react. Monroe is the 12th man, Dusty Thibodeau.
It's the swamp ass. Look, for Monroe standards, it's a cold front coming when James Madison comes. I think the temperature is going to be like in the mid 60s with low humidity.
Oh no!
ULM may not know how to compete in this. Now, don't get me wrong. James Madison has to go through walkthrough and everything else. We do get a preview also in football on Friday night when James Madison plays ULM women's soccer.
Oh,
I talked to the women's soccer coach today, and it's interesting that Jeremy says it smells like cayenne pepper because he said he hasn't been to Monroe before, but he's coached a couple games in Louisiana, and the only way he could describe it is spicy.
I'm telling you, it's not just like a cliche. It's for real.
He said the fans are spicy, the weather's hot. He said it's a spicy place.
Everybody's like, yeah. Well, maybe if you would come down for a Sunbelt Media Day someday, maybe you will experience it for yourself.
Maybe.
Speaking of spicy, this is the last game of the night, guys. 6 p.m. ESPN Plus. Oh, I see I have a typo in my own thing here. That's okay. I'll fix that. I'm not even going to talk about it, but I'll fix it. The Raging Cajuns. They visit Southern Miss Golden Eagles. The Cajuns are a 14.5-point favorite. You know what? This is why there's a typo in my write-up on it. I just don't care about this game. There's something about the Golden Eagles that have just sapped my enthusiasm for this game. I don't know what it is. It's just when I watch them play, it just makes me sad. Is there a reason why I shouldn't be sad, Tibbs?
You will get to find out probably at the same time that Will Hall does of who his starting quarterback will be. According to the Too Deep, the starting quarterback is Roadmaker, or whoever the second string guy is, or John White, or Shane Metlin, or Jeremy Harper.
Just anybody.
It's a true crapshoot, or maybe it's like the pregame raffle of whoever sold the most cookies gets their name in the hopper. When you know that your offense is struggling that bad and you can't even name a starting quarterback, it's not going to go well, especially against a team that's red hot and coming in with all the swagger in the world after beating Wake Forest last week.
Yeah, in fact, the only thing that the Golden Eagles can hope for is sort of a letdown, laissez-faire attitude amongst the Cajuns. Like, yes, we've already had this. This will be so easy, and then they overlook them. But the Golden Eagles, you've got to just feel bad for those guys in that they just can't seem to find a quarterback. They just can't find that right guy. Shane, is there any reason even to watch this game?
I don't know. I'm thinking, throw a little Crystal or Tabasco on this one to make it spicy because I think Louisiana's running away with it. I mean, we were kind to Will Hall the last couple of years, like saying, well, give him time to get his quarterback, or things didn't work out at quarterback. There's no reason for them to not have somebody in place now after he's been there that long. And they go out and they bring guys in the portal. They sign big time high school players, and none of them have worked out. At some point, you got to look at why. Like, it's not all bad luck at this point. And I kind of just think Southern Miss is cooked. I think Louisiana's a lot better. And I don't expect this one to be as close as the spread.
Yeah, I would kind of maybe think about looking at and betting the over on that. I tell you what, here's why Southern Miss depresses me. It's because last year they lost a lot of games, but they were really kind of plucky by doing it. You know, they had Frank Gore Jr. They always seem to have like a spark in them that might say, well, they could win this game. And this year, they just none of that seems to be there. And the fans have tuned out. The Will Hall can timer has been turned on. It's just there's no joy in Hattiesburg right now, and that's too bad because Hattiesburg is a great football town. And guys, that's the end. That's the end of Sunbelt Second and Short. You guys did a great job as usual. You were prepared. You were smart. You were witty. Give yourselves a hand. Well done. Good work, guys.
I feel like I fumbled the snap.
No, you were, man, are you kidding me? You were in victory formation before it even started. That's how good you were. Shane, you know what? You brought that East Coast sensibility to our amateur hour show. I appreciate that.
I do what I can.
Thank you. So anyway, good show, guys. What else we got? Are we done?
I guess it is time for plugs, promos, and parting shots.
So. Yeah, what are we gonna do? Are we doing this?
Jeremy, what do you
promos and parting shots again? Is it possible? Can we do it?
We do it every episode, so I hope so.
Let me think. What would be a good All right, guys, do you read books?
No.
Only when I have to.
What?
When I have to.
No.
You have to. I like a good biography.
All right. What have you read lately, like in terms of biography?
I read a biography of James Madison not too long ago.
Is it the same one I read?
I don't know.
Cherkov or whatever his name, the guy who wrote it. Yeah. I got through about 2/3 of the James Madison biography before I had enough. But man, yeah, that was cool. No, I just read a book, a fiction book. I don't have it with me. I don't have the author's name at hand, but he had written a book called A Gentleman in Moscow. And the book that I've read this time is called Rules of Civility. And this guy writes a really nice book. He's very good with the English language. He knows how to craft a tale. But the problem with this guy is that he's so in love with a detail that he forgets that something eventually has to happen. And in Rules of Civility, nothing happens until the very end. And when it does happen, you're kind of like, eh. So this book gets a lot of praise. And rightly so, because it is a good sort of period piece. It's set in 1939 New York, right before the war, just after the Depression. There's this sort of moment in New York history that it felt like it was kind of a magic time, and he does a good job illustrating this time. But in the end, you just kind of wish there was a sword fight or a duel, or somebody gets punched in the face, or maybe somebody falls down an elevator shaft. Just something to give the narrative a little bit more beef. So Rules of Civility, if you like a good period piece, if you like elegant writing, check it out. If you want like a beach read, maybe go pick up something else.
For my plug?
Yeah, go ahead.
I am still greatly appreciative of the one and only Heisman Trophy voter, Shane Metlin, for giving me a preview of what to expect for this James Madison ULM game. Jeremy, we did cut a little side episode just to preview that game.
What? Without me?
There was zero Arkansas talk. It was all Warhawks, all Dukes, all the time. Check it out, warhawkreport.com. I'm sure Shane, even though I provided him the audio file, did nothing with it. So I will not be featured in the Daily News Record this week, Jeremy.
Well, you might not be Daily News Record Timber. I mean, only a certain metal can be featured in the Daily News Record.
I still have to figure out what I'm doing tomorrow, so it's still a possibility.
Shane, what do you have to close us out?
With Jeremy talking about books.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it in a little bit different direction.
Oh.
No, I'm still talking about books, but familiar with the novels of this is kind of the beach read type of ones that you were talking about. The novel of Carl Hiaasen, a Florida writer, all this stuff set down there.
No. So
I mean, a lot of this stuff has been adapted, and it's usually not very good movies. Like Striptease was an entertaining movie that turned into a bad movie. But right now, he's got an adaptation on Apple TV called Bad Monkey. Vince Vaughn. Yeah. Really good show. I think maybe the finale is available for me to watch when we're done with this. So we'll see. But really good show. Sounds like maybe they'll make like another something based on another novel with the same character, like another season. So worth checking out. Like since we occasionally do our TV recommendations, and Jeremy was getting into the literature. Combining those two. Check out Bad Monkey. That's a good show. Made by the same guy as who made Ted Lasso. So
okay.
So yeah, I did it that way.
I've seen these promos for Bad Monkey, and I do like Vince Vaughn.
Show. So. It's a fun show. It's maybe one of the best things Vince Vaughn's done in a while. It's getting back to kind of that old school era Vince Vaughn, funny guy,
fast talking Vince Vaughn.
Yeah,
confused eyebrow look Vince Vaughn, where he's hit with a piece of knowledge and it floors him. Vince Vaughn.
Yeah,
not gangster Vince Vaughn that we saw in on HBO. What's that called? Oh, True Detective.
No, not that.
No, not that. Okay.
You'll have too much time to watch all these shows, read books, and all of that.
Well, I mean, we're men of leisure. You may not be, Tibbs. You're a more blue-collar guy. But Shane and I, we put on the smoking jacket. We get our sipping of brandy.
Damn smoking jacket again.
We get our cigars, and we enjoy some TV. Yeah, you should try it.